seated. Honorable Selma Ashipala Musavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade. Honorable Verna Sinimbo, Governor of the Kavango West region. Honorable Philippus Denga, the Constituency Councillor for Gurenkuru. All traditional and local authority councillors that are present here. Mr. Sakios Kapenda, the Deputy Director from the International Trade. Mr. Norbert or Mr. Pinia Shinyala from the Ministry of Industries and Energy. Distinguished members of the business community. Mrs. Seyas Hivandu from NAMRA, Mr. Karel Kangondo from the Kavango West Regional Council, members of the media, good afternoon. My name is Rino Muranda, and I will be the Director of Proceedings of this engagement, which is a regional engagement by the Ministry of International Relations in collaboration with the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. This would be the fourth ministerial business engagement session, started in Swakopmund in Erongo, moved to Ochivarango in Ojodonjuba. Yesterday, we were in Katima Mulilo in Zambezi, and today we are here in Gurenkuru in the Kavango West region. I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for coming and be with us. And I want to take this opportunity also to welcome our viewers online. This session is being streamed live to all the corners of the country through our smart media partner, the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation. So the proceedings will be streamed live so that no one is left behind in terms of the engagement and the message that we are going to get from this session. With that said, I would then start with the program and then call upon the Constituency Councillor, Honorable Philippus Denga, to welcome us officially to his constituency.
Thank you very much. Can I, someone to help here, please? Here, to lift a little bit. Thank you very much for the opportunity that I have got as a councillor from Gurenkuru constituency to accord me, that you have accorded me this opportunity to welcome you to this very important engagement. Director of Proceedings, Mr. Vaino Muranda, esteemed Honorables Selma Ashipala Mushawi, Minister of International Relations and Trade, Honorable Verna Sinimbo, Governor of Kavango West Region, Honorable Joseph Sikongo Sivaku, Chairperson of Kavango West Regional Council in his absentia, represented by me, who's speaking now, Mr. Singambwe, Kavango West Regional Chief Regional Officer, Kavango West Region, Honorable Regional and Local Authority present here, distinguished CEOs and representatives of the private sectors, senior government officials, ministries and agencies. I don't want to forget my brother Patrick Kalaluka, NCCI Chairperson, NCCI Nkurenkuru Branch, and the members of the business community, captains of industries, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Stengo Kosetu, good morning, but I don't think it's morning this time. Good afternoon. So it is my distinct honor and pleasure to warmly welcome you all to the beautiful Kavango West region, to be specific, Kurenkuru town, for this important ministerial regional business engagement. I warmly welcome you all, and we are truly humbled to host such a distinguished gathering focusing on one of the most pressing and promising areas of our economic agenda. So the development of micro, small, medium enterprises under the framework of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. So, Honorable Minister, your presence here today is not only a testament to your commitment to the regional development, but also a clear signal of the government's recognition of the vital role MSMEs playing in driving inclusive growth, job creation, and economic resilience in our communities. Kavango West region is strategically well located on the northeastern part of Namibia, right in the middle of the trade route to the larger market of SADC. Its location puts it in the head of a trucking and trade routes reaching to all major markets of SADC and beyond. In light of this, we stand to benefit greatly from regional integration and inclusive trade if we take this opportunity seriously. So I want you to take note, especially the business communities, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, that body plays a big role when you are if you want or you are doing business. So, ladies and gentlemen, immense business opportunities exist across the continent, particularly for MSMEs to expand their markets, tap into the regional value chains, and confront. However, this platform remains unrealized for many of our local business due to the persistent challenges such as limited finances, inadequate infrastructure, regulatory barriers, and most importantly, lack of information and capacity. We are fortunate enough that today's engagement offers us the timely and critical platform to firstly take stock of opportunities generated, thirdly, take stock of challenges, hear directly from our business community, and collectively explore how we can better support MSMEs to fully take advantage of the African continent free trade area opportunities, and mostly importantly, mitigate pressing challenges. So that's why I have said this body is very, very close for people who are doing business. Oshatruga na business wa kwetu. Ororutoro wa kutumbrasi African Continental Free Trade Area. Kururu ganesa nganuta tuka kulika marunone getu. So I urge all stakeholders present here to engage kindly, constructively. Let us identify not only problems, but also solutions that will unlock new opportunities for our entrepreneurs. No kutara singapi omnatuka gusapogo maudigu ipo tugwane marande sero bomawa. So particularly our youth and the women, businesses, and ensure that no one feel left out in the journey toward this regional integration and prosperity. Kapto harakusiga kona mpili gumwe. Tuzeni kumwe, ipotu kulike regions zetu kumwe no sirongo setu. So as a regional council, we are committed to play our part in creating an enabling environment for enterprise development, but we cannot do it alone. We look forward to strengthen collaboration with national government, private sectors, and development partners to drive sustainable progress. So in conclusion, I wish to thank the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, together with the Ministry of Trade, Mines and Energy, for convening this important engagement. So once again, I warmly welcome you all to the Kavango West region and Nkrenkuru town in particular. May our discussion be fruitful with tangible outcomes that empower our business community to rise and thrive under the African Continental Free Trade Area. So with those few words, let me thank you all. Asinonon kangodo, na mtambura, wareni mpandure na wei.
Can we give the constituency councillor a warm round of applause to show that we are feeling welcome? Now, those of us, or those of you watching at home, if you are in Kurenguru and surrounding areas and you feel like you want to be part of this engagement, please do make your way and join us. We are at the Expo Hall in Kurenguru, and it will be a pleasure to have you around. Next up is no stranger to the town of Kurenguru, the region of Kavango West, but also to part of the ministry now that is called the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, because she was there and has, I'm sure, a fairly good understanding. And therefore, it's my pleasure to call upon the Honorable Governor of Kavango West, Honorable Verna Sinumbu, for her remarks and also to introduce the Minister of International Relations after her remarks. Honorable Sinumbu.
Awe Twingireni, please. Thank you. Director of Ceremonies, Director of Proceedings, Mr. Rino Moranda, Minister of International Relations and Trade, Honorable Ambassador Selma Ashipara Musavi, Honorable Philip Ustenga, Councillor from Kurenkuru constituency. With due respect, Honorable Minister, allow me to stand by the protocol which was already established properly by the Director of Proceedings. A very good afternoon. Morokeni, on behalf of the people of Kavango West region, it is my distinct honor to welcome you, Honorable Minister, and also to extend our heartfelt congratulations on your recent appointment as the Minister of International Relations and Trade. Your presence here today is a testament to your inclusive leadership and commitment to engaging all Namibians, urban and rural alike, in shaping our economic future. Can we please clap for the Minister? This engagement is deeply appreciated. It demonstrates a crucial shift towards inclusivity, one that acknowledges the contributions and challenges of regions like Kavango West in the National Development Agenda. Kavango West is a region rich in potential, with fertile land, forest resources, cultural heritage, and resilient communities. I'm sure, Honorable Minister, you saw when you enter, I asked the communities just to bring what they have and display, just for us to show Namibia that we are not just talking, we possess, we have these resources at our disposal. Kavango West is indeed green. Yet, our socio-economic realities are sobering. The 2023 Population and Housing Census records a population of 123,266 people as inhabitants of this region, with more than 15,000 households depending on agriculture. Despite this, we face a 52% unemployment rate, and youth unemployment stands even higher at 58.1%. These figures are not just statistics. They are daily struggles faced by our people, farmers, youth, women, and small business owners. That's why today, dialogue under the AfCFTA theme is not only welcomed, it is essential. The African Continental Free Trade Area, with its access to over 1.4 billion people and a combined GDP of 3.4 trillion USD, offers Namibia and regions like Kavango West a gateway into a transformative economic participation. But to seize this opportunity, we must bridge the gaps, invest in rural infrastructure, expand value chains, promote agro-processing, and support our entrepreneurs. We must create enabling conditions, enabling environment for Kavango West to trade, compete, and grow. To our people, I say, let us rise from limitation. Together we move forward. Tutundeni kokudisensa nyamwe tu. Ose tuskameni tuze komeho. It is time that we need to stand up and we need to stand together in unity to start to believe in ourselves. We need to first believe that we can do it. Then AfCFTA can come and do or mean something to us as a region. But if we doubt ourselves, we are not going to be beneficiaries. Tutundeni kokulisensa, osetuskame tuze komeho meiri kwatakano. And we can only do that if we stand together as a unit. When we stand united, then Kavango West can prosper. As a region, Honorable Minister, we stand ready to work with the national government, the private sector, and regional partners to unlock growth and shared prosperity under the AfCFTA. This is our time to ensure Kavango West is not left behind, but stands proudly at the center of Namibia's economic transformation. Let me close with these words that capture our vision. My people, Namibia is moving forward, and Kavango West will not be left behind. Wakwetu Namibia kuna kuzakomeho, Kavango zoutokero, nage kapinawa msigako. That's why they are here. I was earlier talking about inclusivity. So we are not left behind. So it's now us to grab this opportunity. To do keninye, I was actually expecting this hall to be packed, because the information to be shared today is so important. It is now my honor to introduce the keynote speaker. And she just whispered that, please, in the interest of time. But I feel, at least I need to tell you, this person that I'm about to introduce. Honorable Ambassador Selma Ashipala Musavi is a seasoned diplomat, experienced in international relations, skilled, knowledgeable. She has served Namibia at different platforms, different countries. So this experience, our President, Her Excellency, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, thought this time Honorable Musavi must come and serve in this current portfolio. So on the 22nd of March, 2025, Honorable Ambassador Selma Ashipala Musavi was appointed as Minister of International Relations and Trade by Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, the President of the Republic of Namibia. Once again, Honorable Ambassador, congratulations, and we're very, very happy to have you here. So the floor is yours. Tuskameni.
Thank you very much. Please, let's sit down. Thank you very much, my dear sister, Governor of Kavango West. Morokeni, Kavango West, Morokeni. Bandu. Honorable Verna Sinimbo, Governor of Kavango West Region. Honorable Tenga Philippus, Constituency Councillor of Kurenkuru, and all the other councillors present. Mr. Mateo Singambwe, Chief Regional Officer, traditional leaders present, senior government officials, captains of industry and business leaders of both large, micro, small, and medium enterprises. And I see in the front row here, we have a future captain of industry. Welcome. You see, that's where it starts, at that age. Welcome. Welcome, my son. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Constituency Councillor of Kurenkuru, the Governor, and the entire leadership of Kavango West Region for welcoming me and my team so warmly to your region. We are grateful and sincerely applaud the leadership and the efforts that have gone into facilitating this engagement. Let me also make use of this opportunity to warmly congratulate you, Honorable Governor, on your well-deserved appointment to the highest office in Kavango West Region. My team at the Ministry of International Relations and Trade look forward to working with you, your team, and the communities of Kavango West Region to further develop and optimize the opportunities in this region for the betterment of the livelihoods of the community in this region and our nation at large. In the African tradition, a visitor is obliged to announce the reasons of his or her visit. So let me outright declare that my team and I are here for good omen. And by now, we all know that our President, Her Excellency, Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, has restructured government ministries and subsequently created the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, as well as the Ministry of Industries, Mines, and Energy, as the Governor has already pointed out. Let me hasten to add that the Ministry of International Relations and Trade is tasked with international relations, basically taking care of the relations between Namibia and other countries, as well as relations between Namibia and international organizations on one hand. Secondly, the ministry now also takes care of international trade as well as foreign direct investment into our country. On the other hand, the new created Ministries of Industries, Mines and Energy, as the name denotes, takes care of industries, everything that is related to industries, commerce, as well as SMEs and MSMEs is now with the Ministry of Industries in relation to mines and energy. It is important for me to clarify this division of labor so that we all know where to direct our queries. We will also recall, ladies and gentlemen, the theme of the 8th administration: unity in diversity, natural resource beneficiation, and youth empowerment for sustainable development. That still remains our watchword. Let me now dissect a little bit for us to appreciate this theme. We are talking about unity in diversity because Namibia's 14 regions are diverse in the economic and investment opportunities they offer. Each region has economic strength. Each region has opportunity. But how can we together optimize the strength of Kavango West region, thereby harnessing the collective strength of all the 14 regions, creating viable solutions that benefit the entire country? Every region has challenges, but challenges can also be converted into opportunities. With regard to natural resource beneficiation, this is very critical because the more finished goods we export, the more jobs we create at home, including this region. So the question then is, what additional jobs can be created in Kavango West region? What other sectors in this region have we overlooked where government could intervene to unlock the full potential? On youth empowerment, let me emphasize that for sustainable development, what makes Namibia and the rest of Africa attractive to investors is its youthful workforce. But the question again is, do our youth have the requisite skills? In what ways can we actualize the innovative ideas of our young people to contribute to employment creation and innovation? More importantly, and this is very important, besides the tax revenue from companies that are investing in Namibia and also perhaps in this region, how can these well-established companies, for example, partner with the youth of that particular region? These are issues that we have to think about, and we'll talk about them later. So, Honorable Governor, we are here convening the 4th regional business engagement with the private sector, including SMEs, an initiative of the ministry aimed at engaging the businesses. The ministry is partnering with the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy because we recognize that there are synergies in the mandate of the two ministries. We should not be skeptical about government engagements because government continues to value regular interaction, which lays a strong foundation for establishing partnerships with the private sector. So we are not here to dictate solutions. We are here to continue a conversation on how government and the private sector, including SMEs, can do certain things differently to have different outcomes. Yes, we are Namibians, and proudly so, but we are also Africans, and we must think locally as Namibians, but act continentally as Africans and globally as well. It is said that Africa exports wealth and imports poverty. I want to repeat, Africa exports wealth and imports poverty. And I agree, because we export, for example, our timber, raw, and then we import furnitures. And because these furnitures are so expensive, we go and get loans because we are competing among ourselves. I have furnitures from where? But the timber came from here. So we have to think differently, my brothers and sisters. In redressing this anomaly, African leaders have established the African Continental Free Trade Area, which our governor spoke about. This is an economic blueprint for Africa to bring about Africa's economic integration and Africa's economic emancipation through intra-African trade. Yes, you know about the existence of this free trade area, and I brought experts with me to just update us a little bit in terms of what new has occurred, what are the opportunities, and how can we take advantage of these opportunities. I hope that by now you also know that Namibia has already started trading under this free trade area. Now, Kavango East region can also do the same. I drove from Katima Mulilo this morning, coming to Nkurenkuru for us to have this important engagement. And along the way, I saw two things, among others. It was timber along the way. You know, you have this household, they have a little bit, you have another household, they have a little bit. And the second thing I saw was green, as they say, the green carpet, horticultural crops everywhere, green spinach, tomatoes. And I asked myself, if you have 50 households and everybody is harvesting timber in their own small plot, you cannot go far. That's why we say if you want to walk fast, you walk alone. But if you want to go far, work together. If we want to make a dent and bring about development in Kavango West region, we have to think about working together to create the impact and the critical mass. We cannot create market access for a few products or very low services. We must come together. The fact that we are talking about the African Continental Free Trade Area is because African leaders have realized that if Africa has to become a player globally, if we have to begin to consume what we produce, we must come together and take advantage of the 1.4 billion market. Because all the people in Africa, if you put them together, is 1.4 billion. And in that 1.4, we can actually create a niche for ourselves, even as Kavango West. So this is what we want to talk to you about. The private sector, I'm very happy that you are here this afternoon, because the private sector is the one the government continues to be committed to working together with the private sector, as our governor has already referred to. As I draw to my conclusion of my remarks, let me reiterate that this engagement serves as a platform for policymakers and businesses to exchange ideas on how to ensure that Namibian products have access and compete effectively in the regional, continental, and global markets. And in particular, to capitalize on the opportunities offered under the SADC, the African Continental Free Trade Area, and other global framework. We need to see more exports under these agreements, including the participation of the SMEs, women and youth in particular, for diverse products. We are not starting from scratch. We continue engaging in order to foster a conducive business environment, to appreciate better the isolated challenges faced by exporting MSMEs and difficulties in reaching wider markets, lack of access to trade information pertaining to issues such as trade facilitation and non-tariff barriers. Most importantly, we are here in order to establish what distinguishes Kavango West from other regions. What can we do differently, as I mentioned before? The fact that Kavango West is a new region, it can also be an opportunity, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can actually avoid the mistakes that were done before. You can simply draw from the successes of other regions. The fact that it is a new region, it means there are untapped opportunities, and those are the opportunities that we need to optimize. Finally, Honorable Governor, Namibia is a prime destination for businesses, a true gem worth investing in, and where each region can unleash its full potential. I have no doubt that our discussion here today and future engagements will foster a transparent and productive working relationship, strengthen bonds between government and the private sector for a prosperous Namibia. I thank you once again for making the time to come to this engagement. Pandu Nene.
Can we give the keynote speaker another round of applause, please? We want to appreciate our online viewers getting text. Okay, thank you. And we will be moving on smoothly with our program. Next part of the engagement is where we do presentations. The presentations will be from the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, NAMRA, as well as the Ministry of Industries and Mines. And now, what we will do, in the interest of time, the speakers will have 15 minutes. So if you pick up something that you probably want to ask or follow up, I would ask you to either take a mental note or note it down so that at the end of the session, we'll open up the floor for questions and answers. With that said, I would want to call upon Mr. Zacchaeus Kapenda for his presentation to the audience. Thank you very much. Mr. Kapenda.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremony, and my Honorable Minister and my Honorable Governor. Let me stand at the protocols already established. We really want to appreciate you for getting a time to engage us as we dive in this topic to establish and to discover the opportunities that have been created by this Africa Free Trade Continental Agreement that we are talking about. And I'm also happy because the previous speakers have almost said what I have to say. Really, they have expanded more as to what is the objective of the CFTA and what are the benefits. So for me, perhaps just in the interest of time, to take you through for you to understand as to when we are talking about the free trade agreement, what is it really? Because we might look at this very, very nice name, but we might not really know how it works. So a free trade agreement is an engagement by one member state with another or with multiple other member states. For example, we do have a SACU, which comprises of 5 member states, which is South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Eswatini, and Lesotho, which has a deeper integration, which is known as a customs union. In such arrangement is that the goods coming into this arrangement, into this configuration of SACU, they are only charged duties at one point of entry. But we are also part of the SADC. SADC is also a free trade agreement, and the one that we are now discussing about, the Continental Free Trade Agreement, which comprises about 55 member states. So a free trade agreement, what it means that the member states to those configurations, their products and services, if they are considered to be originated from those member states, they will be able to be traded duty-free, meaning that the products that have been negotiated, agreed, and identified to say those are the products that Namibia want to trade or Namibia want to allow, then the duties or the import duties at the border, NAMRA has not really have to charge you much. We are also excited because our neighbor Angola here, they have not really been participating in the SADC free trade agreements because their offers were not considered, but they have now submitted their offer, and soon we will also be able to trade freely with Angola. So they will be able now to do trade with Angola duty-free. So what it means that the products has to be originated, and when we heard about the potential of this region, mostly is the agriculture. And the agriculture really, those are the producers that are originated from our country, from this region. So they will be able to be traded under the CFTA because they are wholly obtained. They are originated from here. There's also a component where we say that the products can be transformed. You might get inputs from elsewhere, you produce, and your products will also meet the rules of origin. My colleague from NAMRA will explain to you for you to understand more. So what it means, colleagues, is that as the Minister of International Relations and Trade, we continue to advance market access for our products, especially on the external trade. So we want our people to be able to trade externally. We want them to be able to export their products. So hence, we have now, as a country, entered into this agreement, which is known as the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. You see the presentation there. And we have signed it, we have ratified it, meaning that we are now party to this agreement, and that agreement has entered into force. What it means now is that you, as a business community, as a people, you have now a chance or an opportunity for you to trade under this Continental Free Trade Area, for you to have a wider market access. So this means that you are not going to only be limited to the SADC configuration that we do have, the SADC that we do have, or perhaps the tripartite, which comprises of EAC, COMESA, and SADC, but you will also be able to trade all the way up to Algeria, Nigeria, Togo, or other member states in the continent. So this agreement really it simply aims at creating a single market for our goods and services, meaning that if you are a service provider and that service provider that you are doing is liberalized in the market where you want to trade or to do business, you can also provide your services there. So this intra-Africa trade, which we are now talking about, it came about as a vision of our leaders, because they realized that really when it comes to the Africa, we were trading among ourselves very minimal as compared to other continents. Hence, they came up with the idea to say that let's establish a free continental trade agreement which will allow our people to trade amongst themselves. So what are the coverage, the area that are covered by this agreement? Of course, we do have the protocol on trade in goods, meaning that the goods, Namibia as part of SACU, they have negotiated the goods to be liberalized or to be immediately, to mean that when you are trading, the duties will be eliminated or they will be reduced. We have also negotiated on the protocols on trade in service, meaning that you are able also to provide your services beyond the borders. The agreement also contains the protocol on women and youth in trade, and I'm happy that my minister also spoke to the women and youth emancipation. Really, this is a protocol that will enable the women and youth to do business in the continent. We have also, the agreement also has a protocol on the intellectual property rights. What it means that if there happens to be any innovation, our own innovation, we are able to protect them so that they will not be used anywhere, so that we are going to own them. For example, you might be aware that these regions, they have a lot, they are naturally endowed with a devil's claw. But that devil's claw, the hidden component, we don't own it. It's patented by somebody else, by another member state, meaning that we have lost it. But what we are saying that through these protocols, we are going to negotiate for us to have our innovation back to us. There's also a protocol in investment for us to attract investment, because as I have indicated from the beginning to say that the free trade agreements is characterized by two things: the originated goods, the goods that will be able to be traded, and if that good happens to meet the conditions, if certain materials are used in production, that goods happens to meet the rules of origin, then those goods will also be deemed as originated and you will also be able to trade them in the continent. Therefore, there's a protocol in investment, meaning that as a business community, you can now enter into partnership with the investors on the strategic sectors for them to put up a manufacturing in our country, they produce, and you also now be able to trade those products in the continent. There's also a protocol on e-commerce or digital trade, because we know that countries that are doing so well in trading are those trading online. Even the companies that are doing so well, they are those ones that are doing digital trading. Alibaba, the Amazon. We also have our local SMEs that are coming up with digital trade platforms. like the Katuka, the Tulande, and there's always another one which I will share with you when we are having our engagement after this meeting, so that you're able now to exploit this opportunity for you to be able to market your products online. You just put them on the catalog, and those who will be interested in your products, they will be able to do a business with you instead of your products having a fiscal market. So it's one of it. Also, we have a protocol on the rules and procedures for dispute settlement, meaning that now as a business community, let's say if you happen to do a business with another member state and perhaps a dispute arises, then there will be a way to resolve those disputes. Lastly, there's also a protocol on the competition policy, meaning that we also want to protect our industry against competition and unfair trade practices. Some of these protocols are yet to be concluded, but they are on the pipeline. So we will enhance this deeper regional integration. Now, as a country, for us now really to be able to benefit from this trade agreement, we have developed what we call implementation strategy and the action plan for this CFTA. So, and a committee has been set up, is in place, comprised of various stakeholders, so that we put our minds together to see as to how do we really derive benefits from these agreements. Of course, the new markets which will be created by this agreement, or that has been created by this agreement, as we have said already, it will create new market access for you to do trade beyond the Namibian borders. We also, it's also aimed at addressing or resolving non-tariff barriers, those factors that might hinder seamless trade. It can be customs procedures, sometimes they might be too long. It could be network coverage, and everything that has nothing to do with a customs duty or tariff that hampers trade. It will also be discussed or attended by these committees. We have also, it will also provide now a platform for SMEs to do trade. Really, it has been mentioned that economies develops, the engines of the economies are the SMEs and the business community. So this is an opportunity to do business. So what will be the potential challenges? I know that the director of ceremony is really rushing me, but the challenges really that we might face is that when you have opened up market access, you might also have imports of like products, of equivalent products that you are producing. So you might face a stiff competition. But the good thing is that as a ministry, we are in the process, in the very advanced stage of establishing an entity that will be responsible to manage our tariff so that we protect you against the unfair trade practices. The bill has already been developed and is now with the cabinet for tabling and for us to be able to establish this body. So another disadvantage might be the loss of customs duties, because when the products now have been liberalized, it means that they will now enter the countries either duty-free or the duties will be reduced. So we have also various platforms when you are doing your business and you encounter certain challenges where you can log on those websites that you see there. We are going to share the presentation with you so that you're able now to get it and play around with it. You can lodge the complaints that you are facing or any other challenge that you will be facing. There are about 3 of them. 2, they have to do with really when you are facing challenges and while the other one is this non-tariff barriers, and this one really, the last one, focuses on the Continental Free Trade Agreements. So we have also really negotiated 5 priority sectors that we want to liberalize. Those are the financial, communication, tourism, transportation, and business services. And really, what it means that we have also developed a trade portal that will be able to provide you with all the information when you want to do trade, either within Namibia or with, beyond the borders of Namibia. In the interest of time, I so submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think it's important that we have an overview and an understanding of what the framework is, and therefore I think I was a bit lenient on the time. Next up is the presentation on the service offerings of Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board. And I'll be the one doing that presentation. All right, so maybe to start with and provide a context, the Honorable Governor has indicated that there is about 123,266 people in the region, of which 50% depend on agriculture. What was scaring is that 52% of the region's inhabitants are unemployed. Now, if we look at the national statistics from the National Statistics Agency, about 36.9 Namibians are unemployed, which means the region has higher unemployment when you look at the overall in terms of the statistics of people that are unemployed nationally. That calls for something to be done in the region. Of course, inequalities, if you look at our coefficient, you see that we are standing at 0.5. The higher it goes, the higher the inequality. Of course, the idea and the objective is to reduce the coefficient so that it can get closer to 0 in order to reduce the inequality. We are also looking at 47.5% of Namibians that are either monetarily poor or multidimensionally poor. So what is the mandate of the investment board? It is to promote investment, develop and facilitate, and also for the MSME development. The reason why the Namibia Investment and Promotion Development Board exists is to unlock investment opportunities for inclusive growth. That is done through facilitation of trust relationships to attract and retain sustainable investments for inclusive economic growth. So what is the role of business? What is your role? The private sector is vital for employment creation, as it is the primary engine for job creation, driving economic development, and reducing poverty. Also, private sector provides jobs. It empowers individuals and communities to improve their living standards and also to contribute to the economy. So leveraging investment to grow the economy is about developing, growing, and increasing productivity of local business. Local businesses also de-risk an economy in a manner that the government and foreign enterprises cannot. Some of the benefits of local businesses is that they are a tool for building the know-how of effective business management skills and also to achieve intergenerational transfer, building wealth in the long term, and also to close inequalities. Of course, like my previous presenter indicated, we will share these presentations with everyone. So in the interest of time, I will not be going through all the bullet points. Why is it important to have foreign direct investment? It is our main objective in attracting foreign direct investment is 1, to create jobs, 2, for local supply chain development. So if a foreign investor comes in and set up, for instance, a company, that company would require services. It will require services that will be provided from the local investors. So if it is a company that would require, for instance, catering services, the local investors or local business people can provide such services to the investors. And therefore, we are looking at local supply chain development. Import substitution, productivity gains, regional development. I think the Honorable Governor indicated that the region is endowed with many things. Among the things that was indicated was fertile land, cultural heritage, and a resilient community. So what is that unique value proposition or the unique selling point of Kavango West region? So these are some of the things that we are looking at so that we are able to profile the regions and provide an investment opportunity that is unique to a particular region. So what are we looking at in terms of getting investors on board? There are different types of investors. Some of them are looking for resources. So they are focusing on the country's endowment, those that are focusing on the minerals, the natural resources of the country. Then you find investors that are efficiency seeking. So those investors who typically focus on cost of production and doing business. So they are looking at low cost, ease of business, and low cost of production. Knowledge-based investors would focus on technical skills and innovation where they are looking for specific skills for them to be able to invest in a country. And then you find another investors that are focused on market seeking. Those ones are focusing on the market and the offtakes that they can find in a particular location. These are some of the critical success factors that attract foreign direct investment in any country. It's quite a list. As I indicated, I will provide the presentation to all. So, as at NIBDP, we regard ourselves as government's vehicle to grow the economy by supporting the growth and development as well as productivity of business. There are a couple of priority sectors that we are focusing in terms of our economic diversification efforts. First one is energy, and here we're looking at renewable energy, we are looking at green hydrogen, we are looking at oil and gas. We also look at food industry, chemicals and basic materials. We are also looking at transport and logistics. I think during his opening remarks, welcoming remarks, the Constituency Councillor indicated that Kavango West is strategically located for the highway in terms of the transit. So these are some of the things that we can look at over and above other things that have been mentioned. Services, digital and global, metals and mining, machinery and electronics, communication and technology, tourism and sport. I think Honorable Governor spoke about cultural heritage. How can we make it an attractive proposition for others to come and learn the cultural heritage that is rich and endowed in this region? The other sector that is a priority is culture and creative industry. So what do? We serve on various committees to try and advocate certain positions to make the country competitive, also to ease to ease business or to do business in the country, as well as dialogue, engaging with private sector like we do today as part of the team, as well as to ensure that we have productivity task force that look at specific bottlenecks of a particular industry and try and look at amending some of these or improving some of these so that we can increase productivity of local industries. In terms of the investment pipeline, currently we have an investment pipeline of over 224 million, of which 27.23% is for agriculture and food processing, renewable energy around 26%, and then the rest of them follows. If you look at those regions where there is a final investment decision pending, is Oshikoto, Erongo, Karas, Ojotonjuba, and Komas. Unfortunately, I don't see Kavango come in the next while, we should be able to see a project that is listed from Kavango West. So what are we doing as far as the business needs are concerned? Promoting local entrepreneurship and innovation. We provide business matching for businesses, MSMEs, and local investors, and also market access where we arrange series of events, like for instance, Meet the Buyer, where we'll bring in all the retailers, the big retailers in the country, we'll bring in MSMEs, and then they can then get exposure to these retailers in terms of what are the requirements, how can you get your products to be on their shelves. So these are some of the initiatives that we go around with. Maybe to touch on some of the success stories. Your Kitchen, it's a project in Windhoek, investment value of 17 million, created about 40 permanent jobs and 30 temporary jobs, and they are involved in the sector of agriculture and food processing. Cleanergy is based in Walvis Bay, Erongo region, created about 50 jobs permanently and temporary jobs about 150. Your neighboring region, Kavango East, there is a project called Namibia Berries. About 1.1 billion is going to be invested over the next 7 years. Currently, there's about permanent jobs, 500 that were created, and seasonal jobs of about 850. And they are also involved in the agriculture and processing. So as I indicated, Kavango East is there. So what can Kavango West also come up with? And this is part of the engagements that we have today to see what are the type of unique propositions that the region can come up with, that when we are profiling the regions, we can say, when we get investors, for this particular investor, this region is suited. Northern Grape Project that is in the north, Umsati, at Etunda, the value there is, I think, 130 million. 700 jobs at full capacity. Then we have got the high ion project in Erongo, in Arandes, 40 permanent jobs were created, 20 is seasonal, and it's renewable energy. So those are some of the projects that were facilitated by the Namibia Investment and Promotion Development Board. So what we are basically saying, what are we saying? What we are saying is that at the board, we have got a number of propositions and business ideas for small and medium enterprises. If you want to get in touch and get registered, you can actually visit our website where you can get all the information. After this event, we will be around for networking and we can give more information. But those that are watching from home, I think you can visit our website and you'll get more information about what I've just presented. Also, when you enter, I think there is a registration form where you are registering and your details are provided. So we'll make sure that if you provide us with an email address, we will be able to then dispatch the presentation to you all. In the interest of time, I think this is where I stand, and we'll stop. I still have 5 minutes, but thank you. I'll yay those ones to the next presenter. Thank you very much. Yeah, so the next presentation will be from NAMRA, and for that I will be calling on Ms. Saya Sivandu, NAMRA.
Thank you very much. Let me acknowledge the presence of Honorable Selma Ashipala Mushavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade, and equally, let me respect the protocol that's already observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon? Are you there? Okay. My name is Aya Shivandu from Namibia Revenue Agency, Unit Technical Services and Excise Management, Subunit Rules of Origin. What our role here on AfCFTA, NAMRA role are, we are providing technical support during negotiation of the agreements. We make sure that the agreements are well implemented, like this one, AfCFTA agreement. We are registering exporters who want to trade under various trade agreements. We are capacitating customs officials as well as traders. I hope we have a trader here who wants maybe to be trained, his people to be trained in rules of origin. You are free to see us so that we can come and train your people without cost. Okay, in my presentation, I'm going to talk about the following things. What are rules of origin? What do you need? What are rules of origin? Because before you trade, you have to negotiate rules of origin. Sorry, I'm not yet even there. Why rules of origin important? Why rules of origin important? How to determine the origin criterion for your product to be traded under AfCFTA agreement. What are the requirements for the exporter? What do you need to export? What are the processes for your application, if you want to put your application? And how to issue the certificate of origin, and how the certificate of origin looks like. I hope I will do that within 15 minutes. Thank you. What are rules of origin? According to AfCFTA, rules of origin are a set of criteria and conditions used to determine whether or not goods that are traded between state parties qualify as originating goods. Rules of origin are rules and regulations that determine the economic nationality of a product. The rules of origin are used to assess whether products are eligible for duty-free or reduced duties under the trade agreement rules. Why rules of origin important? Why it is important? Rules of origin are necessary to determine the requirements that the product must meet in order to redeem originally within the free trade area. Assess if the product meets the criteria for preferential reduced import duty. To promote industrialization, value addition, and economic diversification. How to determine the origin of goods under AfCFTA agreement. There are two ways to determine the origin of goods: wholly obtained or substantially transformation. What do we mean wholly obtained? What do we mean wholly obtained? Goods that are naturally occurring, born and grow, extracted, or taken in a single country. Like we have our grapes, we have milk, we have our beef, and of course we have our fish. Those are wholly obtained. Okay, we continue with another wholly obtained. When it comes to fishing industry, the provision of wholly obtained or produced goods are supplemented by definition of vessel and factory ship of a state party. In terms of their vessels and their factory, shall apply only to vessels, leased vessels or bareboat and factory ship which are registered in state party in accordance with national laws of state party and carry the flag of state party. In addition, you have to meet the following: at least 50% of the officers of the vessel or factory ship are national of the state party or state parties, or at least 40% of the crew member of that vessel or factory ship are Namibian. When I said national, I mean Namibian. On this part, I will put Namibian. Or at least 50% 50% of equity holding in respect of the vessel or factory ship are held by national, by Namibians, or institution, agency, enterprise, or corporation of the government of the state party of Namibia. All together? Okay. We have, as I told you, that criteria we have wholly produced and substantially transformation. On substantial transformations mean that the goods underwent a fundamental change in form, appearance, nature, or a character. Products which are not wholly obtained in a state party considered to be sufficiently worked or processed when they are fulfill one of the following criteria. There's a specific processes, change in tariff heading, value added, and non-originating materials. What do we mean specific processes? Working or processing where a specific working on processing is carried out. In this example, we got a diamond. If a country imports a raw diamond and further process them, let's say polishing, because this is a special one, the final product will be considered as originating according to the AfCFTA rules of origin. Substantial, we are continuing with the substantial transformation. We have change in tariff heading. This condition is fulfilled when a company manufactures a product with a raw material from a tariff code that is different from that of final product. In this case, we have grapes imported from another country. You process that grapes and then you come up with a wine. When you import these grapes, the HS code, the tariff code, it was 0806. When you process, become a wine, it's changed a heading and it's become 2204. Substantial transformation is continued. We have value addition. In this one, a manufacturer in which the value of material used exceed 40%. In this case, I want to give you an example. Maybe you import only this part without lenses and without this. You import it outside, you put something, you add this and this here in Namibia and this one, so your product is qualified because you add value on this product. That one is mathematics, and I don't think we can do that because when I look at you, it's like you don't want to do math. Okay. We have non-originating materials. The value of non-originating materials content conditions are based on the threshold for raw materials from non-AfCFTA countries allowed to be used in production of AfCFTA originating product. In this case, let's say you import, let's say you want to come up with, maybe a bag, handbag. The material which you used, some of those that are not from member of AfCFTA, maybe the zip you imported from China, plus other those metals. But those ones which are imported from non-originating materials, they must not exceed 50% of that. Application processes, all manufacturer, producer, and exporters are required to register with NAMRA section rules of origin. Complete manual application form and provide the required information. NAMRA will conduct a site verification at the exporter premises to assess the manufacturing process according to the origin criteria. Products will be categorized under the right origin criterion, which is wholly obtained or substantially transformation. The exporter will be registered to trade under AfCFTA and will be issued with an approval letter with a unique registration number. What are the requirements for exporter AfCFTA? We need a company registration certificate, that letter which you got it from BIPA. Some they used to call it a founding statement. We need a brief company profile. In short, your vision, your mission, what is the company want to export? Export permit, if your product required permit. Proof of right holding, this one is for the vessel. If you have a vessel, we need proof of right holding. Proof of identity, whether it's your ID or your passport. Certificate of, in this case for proof of identity, we want your ID in case if you are not obeying, then NAMRA will follow you. We need certificate of good standing with NAMRA. Of course, we need certificate of good standing. You must be in good standing with us. We need a producer, a supplier declaration in case if you are not the owner or you are not the producer of that product. We need a declaration from the producer. If you are a manufacturer, we need the processes from stage 1 up to the last stage, or the sketches. Just give us how do you do it. Certificate of origin issuance. A certificate of origin will be issued by a competent authority, which is NAMRA at regional office, head office, or point of exit or entry. At this side, you are closer to Katwitwi. If you want to export, you will get it, your certificate there, or regional office, I think it's in Rundu, you will get the certificate of origin there. Exporter will fill in all necessary details on the certificate in accordance with SAD 500. NAMRA customs officers will authenticate the certificate with a signature and stamp. Exporter will be issued with 2 copies of certificate. Certificate of origin. That is how the certificate looks like. What is certificate of origin? This is a crucial document in international trade that verifies where exported goods were grown, produced, or manufactured. And in this case, I just want to put you in, I just want to do a small practical for certificate of origin. For the human being, for a person, you are getting a birth certificate. We are together. But for the product, they are getting certificate of origin. Product also need certificate of origin to prove that, yes, this is a Namibian product. Are we together? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. And I think the only reason why I let you to run over time is because of the amnesty program, and you have extended your tax submission date also. So it's a reciprocal thing. The reason why we are running with time is that at 5 o'clock we will be crossing over, and we don't want to lose the presenters. And therefore, we are going to stick to the 15-minute limit. The next presentation will be by Mr. Phineas Shinyala, who will be presenting what the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy offer. Mr. Shinyala.
Good afternoon. Yeah, firstly, I would want to stand on the protocol already established and only acknowledge the presence of our Honorable Minister, Minister of International Relations and Trade. My name is Phineas Jonas Shinyala. I am Deputy Director for Regional Economic Development. I wanted to to make a point before I go into the presentation. And this is mainly to alert you as business people that the world is changing. And it is changing in a way that we don't only make the product and sell it in the market. but it's changing in a way that a business person must be good at making the product, and also must have the knowledge on what to do to be able to deliver the product to the market. That is very important in today's world. You must learn how to do your product and be able to learn the processes of how to deliver successfully your product to the market. That is very important. So we must start learning. It is not a very difficult exercise. This is something doable, but we must be committed to it, and we must be able to deliver our product to the market successfully using our knowledge, our understanding of what is required, so our products are successfully entering the market in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. So we need to do that, but we should do it together. All the expertise that I've spoken here, they are trying to alert you of a specific knowledge area that you must understand, you must be conversant, so you are able to deliver your product in that market. Thank you very much. Yeah, my presentation is going to be a little bit short because I'm the last to speak and I feel the people are tired. Honorable Minister, I will try to be very, very fast and also try to make sure that I articulate the most important things. We are going to deal with those 4 points, but the most important ones are just number 2, industrial development policies. Because the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, it deals with production systems, with enterprises that are in manufacturing, that enterprises that are also in trading. But then we have to make sure that you understand our services to you and you are able to approach us where we can help you. Okay? Thank you. And again, we are going to deal with the industrial programs and also the SME programs. So you understand, because sometimes we just say SME, SME, SME. But in the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade, and that moved to the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, there is a component of large industries, of big factories. And that component is dealt by industrial development policy. And then there is also a component of small or micro, small and medium enterprises that we call SMEs. There is a specific package of programs that are designed to support the undertaking in this particular sector, especially in the manufacturing area. Under the industrialization policy of 2016, there are quite a list of programs, but on top of those programs, we also had an element that is added to industrial policy that used to be called export processing zones of 1995. It was a specific policy, and it also contained an act of parliament that prescribed what incentives we give to manufacturers under this particular EPZ regime. It is coming to an end this year, and then in that same vein, we are proposing that we should have a replacement for that. And the replacement is special economic zone policy that is also coming with a bill that is under formation. We are hoping that before the end of the year, that replacement is ready. And also for big manufacturers, there is a component of policy element that comes from SADC. We call it SADC industrial policy. It's also part of the policies that supports the big manufacturing industries in the country. Beyond that, then we have got the micro, small, and the medium policy, enterprise policy and the programs of 2015. To that program, we also added an element, a small policy that is part of the big one that we call Namibia Informal Economy, Startups, and the Entrepreneurship Development Policy. As part of the industrial development programs, the programs for big companies, the first one is sites and premises program. Sites and premises was created as an SME program and went growing until it becomes big. Today, we can call it, we can categorize it as part of the industrial development policy program. Mainly, this program creates infrastructure development and implemented under NIDA. I think we also have an SME park here. And through this program, we have created approximately 148 SMEs and industrial parks throughout the country. Yeah, we have seen also in the newspapers that somehow the program went into trouble, and the efforts are underway to recourse the NIDA element to make sure that this program comes back to life and can still be able to support our people, those that are doing business. The second program is called Industrial Upgrading and Modernization Program for big manufacturers as well. It's IOMP. This program supports technology upgrading of companies. It also assists with certification. I understand you are hearing of a lot of certification here, and also standardization. It's also important that you understand this program can also support skills development in terms of making sure that if you need your employees to be trained in a specific technique to be able to deliver a quality product, you can still approach the ministry and get assisted through this program. Last year, because of very limited budget constraint, only 14 companies were assisted in the country. And this year, we have received around 723 applications for assistance. You can imagine how big are the numbers and how small are the amounts that we have to support. Yeah, but we try to do the best we can. We are also stating that we needed to make sure that the manufacturing sector, the economic sector of the country should also get a portion, a larger portion of the government budget, so we are able to make a significant impact in our industrialization process. The other program, under this program, the OMP, we have got also identified priority sectors. The first one is agro-processing. I think we can also look at this region, how best people are processing the agricultural produce to be able to deliver this product is processed to the market we are talking about. The next one is fish processing, pharmaceuticals and cosmetics. It also includes mineral, metallic and non-metallic processing, which is also a mineral beneficiation. Special economic zones are designated economic and industrial areas with special regulatory and fiscal incentives. They are a project within the larger industrial development policy framework. The idea here is to make sure that we create a policy and a law that create benefits for Namibia and also create benefits for investors, which is a balance that is very difficult to achieve. But we are trying to do our best in this. And we are saying that if an investor comes to Namibia, this investor generates certain benefits to Namibia. The first one is investment into the economy that should lead to economic growth and also should contribute to employment. But we are saying not only any employment, but we are trying to look at the issue of decent employment. It is very important. We also talk about skills transfer, development of local content. This is business linkages, which means the investor should not just set up here and try to do things looking outside, but should also source products, should source services from our people to be able to run his or her business. We are also looking at a protection of our environment. So we are saying that we should also connect this as benefits to Namibia, the green industrialization. So we are able to make sure that our environment is not harshly affected by people doing business as investors. either foreign or local investors. What are we giving to them then after they are doing this for us? We are saying we are going to give them a corporate tax rate below that we have in the country. We are also saying that the customs duties by NAMRA, we still have to sit down and decide what exact rate we are giving. I confess that during the EPZ, a mistake was committed, and we gave a free duty regime that generated a lot of problems and a lot of losses to us. And on top of that, we were also blacklisted by European Union that we have become a tax haven. Today, we're looking at this bill. It shouldn't happen. We have to make sure that we do things right. So, VAT exemptions on approved goods, maybe we have to discuss with NAMRA as well. This is just something information. We are hoping that we will reach agreement with all relevant stakeholders, so we are able to deliver a bill that is attractive, that is competitive, but is also predictable by the business people and efficient for us. We are looking at the location for special economic zones, like we look at the Walvis Bay Logistics and Trade Hub. We look at the Windhoek area also. We look at the northern regions, because here is where we have got quite a lot of agro-processing projects happening. We should also try to include that in the special economic zones, and also linked to Walvis Bay Port and the regional corridors, which means the transport routes should be also given advantage in a way that it can also help. And we also try to maybe emulate somehow the status that was provided under EPZ regime, that provided a status of EPZ at a location where you are. If you are in a specific location, we will try to make sure that in the new bill, you can also be accommodated. Not only you have to be at the locations that are identified. Those ones are strategic ones, and then we look at the rest. What are the sectors that are being considered at first? We are looking at first renewable energy and the green hydrogen. We are looking at agro-processing and the food industries. We are looking at mineral beneficiation and battery manufacturing. We are looking at ICT, logistics, and also Africa Continental Free Trade Area, trade platforms. It means, thank you. I got shocked, sorry. And then we also wanted to make sure that as much as possible, we should also motivate to extend these facilities to oil and gas industries and the infrastructure development. So we cater for most of the activities we are looking at there. I already got a warning. I wouldn't go as I'm expected to do, but I will try my best to move fast. The SME policy, as highlighted earlier, generated quite a few programs that are already being implemented, and we are still trying to review the SME policy to accommodate new programs and also to make it align it to new realities on the ground. The first program under the micro, small, and medium enterprise support programs is equipment aid scheme. I'm sure everyone is aware we are used to have equipment handover here and in many other regions. I'm sure we are also aware of the criteria and the support system that is there. Another program we have is gemstone cutting and polishing training program. This is a specialized training program that trains women and young people in how to cut and polish gemstones. In some areas of our country, these gemstones are a lot. And in gemstones are also including diamonds and all other minerals that can be cut and polished. And that training program is quite long. It's around 6 weeks, and we have got a support system available to make sure that if you undergo this program, actually you won't starve there. We support you through the process. Value chain development in the MSME sector. We are trying to make sure that this program expands this year, and it should be able to accommodate industries such as garments and the clothes making, charcoal making, and many more other sectors like cosmetics and so on, where SMEs are doing well. And I'm telling you, I understand, and I'm sure you also understand that our entrepreneurs, SME entrepreneurs that are doing work on cosmetics, some of them, they are doing very well. They have learned all the issues that Namara was explaining here. They have learned all the issues that Kapenda explained here, and they are already in the international market with their small companies, putting products together, working together, and they are able to deliver the quality product in the international market. And I'm sure they are worth emulating. Also, we have a program that is also working here in Kavango West, and that program is called Impretech. Impretech is a Namibia entrepreneurship program. We teach people how to do businesses, how to do business management, how to do accounting functions, how to organize their workforce, and all of this helps them to be able to run successful enterprises. I am trying to just to move that, and I think the presentation is done. Those were just explanations I have taken it through to be able to reach at the conclusion. The conclusion is mainly 2 points. One is much more resources allocation is required to be able to push for the successful SME sector in Namibia. Other countries, those that are advancing in exports to other countries, they have dedicated a huge amount of resources to make sure that, apart from consumption, because we have to finance consumption as a government, so we have to finance education, we have to finance hospitals, and we have to finance all other elements of society, but we should be brave enough to create a larger budget for the productive sector, so we are able to produce and be able to deliver goods and services to the export markets that we require to export, and to get our people ready to move towards that goal. Another element I think is important is that you look at us today, we have come under one umbrella. Honorable Minister of International Relations and Trade has put together a package of expertise from different institutions. That is coordination, that is mutual support, any effort that is supported by many stakeholders to be able to deliver one goal, to make sure the Namibian products are also finding themselves in the shelves of other countries. That is very important. So we should continue coordinating policies, we should continue coordinating efforts so we can make the required impact. With those two elements, I conclude, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shinyala. Now we have come to the end of the presentations. There will be two quick announcements. We will do the vote of thanks. After the vote of thanks, we will skip the question and answer session, and then we'll go straight into the closure of the AU and national anthems. And after that, we will excuse our members of the media because we are going to go into a closed session. So the broadcast essentially will end at 5 o'clock. So please help me now to welcome Mr. Carl Kangondo, who will deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the Chief Regional Officer.
Yeah, thank you very much, Director of Proceedings, just for allowing me to move a vote of thanks on behalf of our Chief Regional Officer who's having other commitments of equal importance. Yeah, let me just move straight to my task, because the protocol is already observed as established by the previous speakers. Yeah, okay, firstly, just allow me to thank our Honorable Minister, Honorable Selma Shipala, for being here in our region with the main focus on this engagement with the business community. Yeah, we really thank you for being here physically. Yeah, then just a snapshot, maybe when you delivered your maiden speech and the budget motivation. I think you spoke something that is very important, which we are following as a region. And you just stated the following, brief. As Minister of International Relations and Trade, I will focus on promoting sustainable development and fair trade practices. Yeah, those two words, sustainable development and the fair trade practices, as well as ensuring that our international partnerships translate into tangible benefits in all our 14 regions. Because that is very important, because the benefit is for the 14 regions, and one of the 14 regions where you are now today, in this fourth consultative meeting that you are really doing. And we thank you for coming up with this initiative of business consultation, and then we call you to accelerate trade and investment opportunities for our business people in this region, since we're an emerging region dominated by micro establishments, because that one is factual and is still recorded. Yeah, secondly, to our own governor, Honorable Vernas Nimbo, we really thank you for being there, visible to all our regional events that are of regional importance, and then through the engagements of this nature, particularly this one with the business community, we do believe that with the theme that you came up during your State of Regional Address, because it speaks by itself, when I was empowering communities, our agricultural transformation, and then creating sustainable jobs. I think then now we call upon the business community and all the institutions to rally behind that theme of our regional governor. We thank you, Honorable Governor, for being with us this afternoon. Yeah, then to Honorable Philip Stenga, thank you very much, my honorable leader from the Regional Council, who's part of the Management Committee, and the Regional Councillor from Kurenguru constituency, yeah, for moving that welcoming remarks for our minister and her delegation to be at ease. We really appreciate you, Honorable, for that. Yeah, then if there are other regional councillors, because I see most of them, they have other engagements, and also the local authority councillors, if there's any here, we also appreciate you for coming to this event. Then together also with the representatives of our traditional authorities, if there are any, if we have any youth groups that are here, the youth forums, if there are those representatives, you are really, your presence is noticed. Yeah, then our different presenters who came now from the Minister of International Relations and Trade, the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, our own NAMRA, then the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. Now we really appreciate the information that you brought to this particular audience. Yeah, then the NCCI, Kurenguru branch, I see the chairperson is there, Mr. Patrick, I see him seated there. Thank you very much for mobilizing the business communities and for disseminating that information, for them to come and capture the information that was shared. Yeah, then the fellow technocrats, all heads of institutions that are here, and then the business communities in general, the non-governmental organizations, faith-based organizations. Your presence was really valued. Yeah, basically, to the beloved audience, think then now we came to the end of our vote of thanks, and I do thank you very much.
Mr. Kangondo, let me also thank you very much for moving that vote of thanks. Looking at the time, I was saying, ish, now, which one should I show for him now to stop? But I unfortunately couldn't do that because I know it was very important, because you could have chosen to be anywhere else, but you have chosen to be with us. And it's important that we also thank you for that. So just before we rise for the AU and the national anthems, I know it has been almost an information overload, lot of jargon, lot of policy talk. We are here to break it down also after that. If you need more information, we can talk about. You must take comfort in the words of your governor, who said that believe in yourself and make it happen. So believe in yourself, make it happen. I want to also add to that a quote from our late founding president, who said that people united and fighting for a common cause will always emerge victorious. So Kavango West, you are not lost, you will always emerge victorious if you are united and you are working together. Of course, the minister also indicated that you need to be united to create a critical mass. And if you can only create a critical mass if you work together for you to be able to have a viable product that can go. So with that said, I hope you are inspired, and in that spirit of being inspired, can I ask you to rise for the singing of the AU and national anthem? Thank you very much. You may be seated. And in closing, I want to thank our viewers. Thank you for being with us and following us for the past hour and a half. And we hope that you found the information as enriching and informative.
This is NBC2. It's ours.